Hey, Domain Dave again for cheapwinefinder.com. What do we got today? We always do value-priced wine reviews. We write them up on the website, then we do a podcast. Today we have a Columbia Valley wine. It's the Chateau Ste. Michelle Columbia Valley Chardonnay 2020, which is not the newest vintage, which is actually good. One thing about wine, expensive wines are usually made that they can be set aside for 10 years more and they improve over time, and where value price wines are made to be very good upon release. No waiting around. But normally you'll see in like the Wine Spectators, just hold this wine if you want to for 5 to 7 years. Unless it's a really, really young wine, which you got to drink in the first 2 years. This one's got some oak aging to it. So to get a wine that's got a little bitty bit of age to it, it's going to have mellowed a little bit. It's going to have the flavors a little more blended. So if you see the 2020 and the 2021, and I'm not sure, maybe 2022 is the actual newest vintage. This was the one that was in my store. It's pretty good. I mean, this one's got about 6 months of oak aging, and half the wine is oak aged, half the wine is a little more than half the wine is oak aged, a little oak aged and fermented. Actually, it's barrel fermented, and about 43% is stainless steel, so it's like a mixed. So it kind of brings different flavors in there, but this one does have a definite, flavor of things being blended together a little bit more. Chateau Ste. Michelle is like the founding father of Washington State Columbia Valley wine. They started in '67 as Ste. Michelle Vintners. They've gone through a bunch of different ownership changes over the years, but they are still like 50% of the wine industry in Columbia Valley. And for value-priced wine drinkers, Columbia Valley is a really good place. For one reason is that it tends to have really fruit-forward wines, but with good acidity, which gives it structure, especially with the white wines. It's just one of the characteristics of the region. And while you can get expensive wines from there, that does happen. The value price stuff is really tasty and well made, and actually they know their audience. I mean, just generally speaking, not just Chateau Ste. Michelle. Well, Washington State wines tend to be value wines, bang for the buck wines. So what we have here is 100% Chardonnay. It's from all over. They said that they picked cool climate and warmer climate. The warmer climate will be riper. The cooler climate will be more complex with better acidity. And they put them together. So, then they had the half oak barrel aged ones and not. So you're getting a couple of different complexities going on here all in the same glass. And this is a wine that was selling for $6.99 in the liquor store I go to, and they had a $3 rebate, so I got it for $3.99, $4. And it has, it has all these different production values to it, which is kind of cool. Now, it is an oaked wine. It has malolactic fermentation. Malolactic fermentation happens in red wine all the time. It's they don't even tell you when it happens. It happens so much, but it happens in Chardonnay intentionally and Chenin Blanc. But that's mostly it for the most part, and it's only when they're doing oak aging, because malolactic fermentation takes the natural kind of racy acidity in the tart that's already in the grape and turns it into lactic acid, which is like lactose milk. Not that it's milk, but it has that more rounded flavors to it. And that's more rounded acid goes better with the oak, which can be kind of buttery. It's not quite butter here because it's only 50%, and they have a lot of used barrels and only a little bit, only 13% are new barrels. So there's not a ton of oak going in there, but there is some vanilla you can definitely pick up on. I'm going to take a sip. There's one thing about us about when we do wines. We mostly do under $20 wines. But we don't care. We're gonna if we give you a $4 wine, which it's not really, it should be closer to 10. But we're gonna give the fuller review. It's not like, oh, it's cheap, so don't bother worried about it, or don't bother thinking about. Some of these wines are worth people looking at and tasting and and thinking about. The price is not the point. And this is one of those wines. It's huskier. If you like your Chardonnays light and breezy, this one's got a little more weight to it. But what that does do is make this kind of a pretty nice food wine. It sips well. I'm enjoying sipping it. But it will stand up to spicy food. It'll stand up to creamy, like Italians with white sauce. It'll maybe Thai or Chinese food. Maybe those peppers in there that you need a glass of wine to help cool off. And it's got that. And for inexpensive Chardonnay, that's kind of a nice feature. You don't really have to go above and beyond to kind of get what you need. Let's take another sip. Yeah, so it's a good wine. It's got a lot. It is varied. It's not simple. It's got a lot of flavor. It's got things going for it. And then the price is right. This is one of those Tuesday night neighbors are over, you're on the porch or wherever, fire pit, and you pop up. You can even put this wine in the bottle in some ice or something and just have a good time. So that's it for me, Domain Dave, cheapwinefiner.com. Chateau Ste. Michelle, Columbia Valley Chardonnay 2020. It's inexpensive, but it's good. I've got a Aldi French organic Chardonnay coming up. We'll see how that one is. Who knows? And I'll be talking to everybody. Keep it cheap. Like us or like your podcast, if you will. Push buttons, and I'll be talking to you. Adios. Bye-bye.